The desert stretched endlessly under the burning sun. Golden dunes rose and fell like waves frozen in time. A small camp stood at the edge of a half-buried ruin, where humans worked with tools, scanners, and machines. Among them was Myra, a young archaeologist with sharp eyes and endless curiosity. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and looked at the shifting sand with determination. "This place is different," she said to Tom, her closest friend and the camp's engineer. "The scanners keep showing strong energy under the ground. This is no ordinary ruin." Tom checked the readings on his handheld device. The screen pulsed with strange signals that seemed almost alive. He frowned. "The numbers keep changing, Myra. It's not normal. Whatever is buried here is giving off power, even after thousands of years." Myra's heart raced. She had spent years studying old legends of hidden pharaohs and temples that were never found. Locals spoke of a golden chamber built by a forgotten ruler, guarded by something no man dared to describe. Most scholars dismissed it as a myth. But Myra believed every myth carried a seed of truth. As night fell, the desert grew cold. The workers gathered near a fire, eating in silence. Myra could not rest. She stood away from the camp, staring at the dunes that glowed faintly under the moonlight. She felt as if the sand itself whispered to her. The next morning, digging began again. The crew pushed aside tons of sand and stone. Hours turned into days, and slowly the shape of a buried wall appeared. It was carved with strange patterns of snakes winding in circles. Each snake had eyes made of polished stone that caught the sunlight and reflected it back like fire. "Look at this," Myra said in awe. She traced the carvings with her hand. The lines were too perfect, too sharp, as if carved not by tools but by machines. "This is far beyond anything made by human hands at the time of the pharaohs." Tom looked uneasy. "Then who made it?" Myra did not answer. She had her own thoughts, but speaking them aloud felt dangerous. More digging revealed a large archway sealed shut with golden slabs. The slabs were smooth and flawless, shining even under layers of sand. Workers tried to chip at the edges, but the tools broke against the surface. Tom shook his head. "It's not gold as we know it. This is something stronger." The locals who had joined the dig grew nervous. They whispered among themselves, glancing at the carvings of snakes that seemed to watch with unblinking eyes. An old man warned them, "This is the chamber of the golden serpent. The pharaoh built it to trap what should never be released." Myra listened but did not step back. Instead, she placed her hand on the slab. To her surprise, the surface pulsed faintly under her palm, like a heartbeat. Everyone froze as the slab gave a low hum, vibrating through the ground. Dust fell from the arch as if the chamber itself had heard her. Tom pulled her back. "Careful. You don't know what you're waking." But Myra's eyes were wide with wonder. "It responded to me. Do you understand what this means? This is not a myth. This is real." The team worked harder, clearing more sand around the arch beneath the golden slabs. More symbols appeared. They glowed faintly in the shade, lines of light running like veins through the stone. Tom brought his scanner close, but the device went dark. The chamber's energy was too strong, overwhelming human technology. At night, the crew argued about whether to continue. Some wanted to leave, afraid of curses and old stories. Others, drawn by greed, dreamed of treasures hidden behind the slabs. Myra sat in silence, staring into the fire. She knew deep inside that the chamber was not built for gold or jewels. It was something greater, something meant to remain hidden until the right moment. When dawn came, Myra led the crew again. They dug with renewed effort, clearing the last of the sand. The full entrance now stood revealed. The golden slabs formed a door taller than 3 men, framed by carvings of serpents with wings. At the top was a single symbol, a circle surrounded by rays, like a sun. Myra touched the center of the circle, and again the faint hum returned. This time, the glow spread across the door, and lines of light traced the serpents from head to tail. The carvings seemed to move under the glow, slithering as if alive. Gasps rose from the workers. Tom stepped closer. "Myra, I think this chamber was waiting for someone. And it looks like that someone is you." Her heart pounded. She wanted to deny it, to say it was only chance, but deep inside she knew the truth. The chamber had responded to her touch alone. Why her, she could not say, but she felt a connection stronger than reason. The sun began to set, painting the sky in red and gold. The entrance to the chamber stood before them, glowing faintly in the twilight. The air grew heavy, and the wind carried a strange hiss across the dunes. Myra looked at Tom. "Tomorrow we open it." Tom's eyes were filled with both fear and loyalty. "If we do this, there's no turning back." Myra nodded. "I know. But the secret of the Pharaoh's hidden temple has waited long enough. Now it will be revealed." As night fell again, the camp was restless. The workers whispered of curses, the old man prayed, and Tom sharpened his tools. Myra sat alone, staring at the glowing serpents on the golden slabs. She felt the weight of history pressing on her shoulders. Somewhere deep below, something ancient stirred, waiting for her to take the next step. The desert, silent and endless, kept its secret for one more night. The morning sun rose over the desert, turning the dunes into waves of fire and light. The camp came alive with movement. Workers carried tools, ropes, and lights toward the golden slabs. Some were fearful, but curiosity was stronger. Myra stood in front of the sealed gate, her hands trembling with both excitement and unease. "This is it," she said softly. "Today, we step inside." Tom joined her, holding a heavy tool that looked like a drill but was built from his own designs. "We can't break this metal, Myra. It's not ordinary. But maybe we don't need to break it? Maybe it wants to open." She nodded. The carvings of serpents still glowed faintly, even after the night. Their stone eyes reflected the morning light as if watching the humans gather. Myra placed her hand on the circle at the center of the slab. The surface warmed under her palm. Slowly, the golden lines along the serpents brightened, spreading outward like fire running through veins. The ground trembled. Workers stumbled back in fear, but Myra stood firm. With a deep rumble, the slabs began to shift. Sand fell in streams as the massive golden door slid apart, revealing darkness beyond. The air that flowed out was cold, carrying a faint metallic scent. Everyone fell silent. Tom adjusted the lamp on his shoulder. After thousands of years, this place is still alive. The first chamber was narrow and long, with walls covered in carvings. Golden snakes stretched across the stone, their scales catching the light. But these were not normal carvings. As Myra moved closer, the snakes shimmered, almost like they were shifting in and out of the wall. She raised her lamp higher. Symbols glowed faintly above the serpents. They were not simple hieroglyphs but a language she had never seen before. The symbols pulsed like stars, forming patterns that moved across the wall. Tom scanned the marks with his device, but again the screen turned black. He hit it with frustration. Whatever this place is, it does not want to be measured by our machines. Myra whispered, because it was not made for machines. It was made for us. The group moved deeper into the passage. The sound of their footsteps echoed loudly, mixing with a strange hiss that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Some workers refused to continue and stayed near the entrance, whispering prayers. The brave followed Myra and Tom. After a long walk, the narrow hall opened into a vast chamber. Everyone gasped. The ceiling rose higher than they expected, supported by massive golden pillars carved in the shape of entwined serpents. The floor was smooth and shining, as though polished yesterday. At the far end of the chamber stood an enormous door, even larger than the first. It was covered with a single carving, a serpent coiled around a shining sun. Its head faced forward, mouth slightly open, fangs sharp, as if ready to strike. Myra stepped closer, her lamp shaking in her hand. "This is the true gate," she said. "The Pharaoh built this temple not to honor a god but to guard something powerful." Tom placed his hand against one of the golden pillars. He felt a vibration running through it, a hum like the beating of a heart. He looked uneasy. "This is not stone, Myra. This is a machine." Her eyes widened. The thought had crossed her mind, but hearing Tom say it made it real. The chamber was not just a tomb. It was part of something greater, something alive. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted slightly. Lines of light ran across the tiles, forming patterns of serpents coiling in circles. A low voice echoed through the chamber, not in words but in a sound that felt like whispers carried by the wind. The workers screamed and ran back toward the entrance. Only Myra and Tom remained frozen in place. Myra gripped Tom's arm. "Did you hear that?" Tom nodded, his face pale. It sounded like hissing. The golden serpents carved into the pillars glowed brighter, their eyes shining like burning gems. The great door at the far end remained closed, but the carvings on it began to move. The serpent slowly uncoiled, its body slithering across the surface of the metal. Myra could not believe her eyes. She stepped forward, whispering, "It's alive." The serpent froze, its glowing eyes locking on her. Then the sound returned, clearer this time, like a voice shaping words through a storm. Myra heard a single phrase in broken human speech, "Chosen, heir." Tom pulled her back. "It spoke to you." "Myra, it spoke." Her heart pounded. She had always believed the chamber was meant to be found, but she never imagined it would recognize her. The serpent on the door stopped moving and returned to its carved state, but the glow remained. The chamber fell silent again, though the hum of energy still filled the air. Tom shook his head. "This is not Egyptian. This is not from Earth." Myra looked at the glowing serpent. "Maybe it is both. Maybe the Pharaoh had help from beyond the stars. Maybe this temple is the proof." They stood in silence, realizing the weight of what they had discovered. The workers were gone, leaving only Myra and Tom in the chamber. Myra's voice was steady but filled with awe. "This place is not just history. It is a message. And now it has woken." Tom looked at her with worry. "If it has woken, then what else waits behind that door?" The golden serpent's eyes still glowed, watching them. The chamber felt alive, as if holding its breath. Myra placed her hand on the smooth floor. It vibrated softly under her touch. She whispered to herself, "Tomorrow, we will find out." Outside, the desert wind howled, carrying sand across the dunes. But within the golden chamber, the ancient secret had stirred, and it would not sleep again. The desert night was silent, but inside the golden chamber the air was heavy with hidden power. Myra and Tom had stayed behind when the workers fled. They sat near the glowing pillars, their lamps casting long shadows. Neither of them could sleep. The image of the serpent moving on the great door haunted their minds. Myra whispered, "It called me heir. Why would it say that to me?" Tom leaned against a pillar, his face pale from the glow around them. "Maybe it's a mistake. Or maybe this place has been waiting for someone like you." "But Myra, what if it's dangerous?" She looked at the serpent carved on the door. Its golden scales shimmered faintly as though alive. Her heart told her that leaving now would mean losing the greatest discovery in human history. "If it is dangerous, then we have to face it. This chamber was hidden for a reason. The Pharaoh wanted it protected. I have to know why." When dawn arrived, Myra and Tom prepared to step deeper inside. They carried ropes, tools, and more lights. The golden chamber was still glowing as if it never slept. The great serpent carving seemed to watch them as they approached. Myra reached out, pressing her hand against the door. At once, the serpent's eyes flared with brilliant light. The entire wall vibrated as a deep rumble shook the chamber. Slowly, the massive door split open, revealing a hall of darkness beyond. A cold wind rushed out, carrying the smell of metal and dust untouched by time. Tom raised his lamp. "Stay close. Whatever is in here, it hasn't seen humans for thousands of years." They stepped inside. The hall stretched endlessly, its walls lined with statues of serpents, each taller than a man. Their mouths were open as if ready to strike. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the floor, marking a path toward the heart of the temple. As they walked, the air grew colder. The sound of their footsteps echoed strangely, as if the chamber itself was listening. Then, without warning, the statues' eyes lit one by one, filling the hall with a soft golden glow. Tom whispered nervously, "They're waking up." Myra's breath caught in her throat. The glow was not random. It spread like a wave, guiding them forward. The statues seemed to lean toward them, hissing faintly through the stone. At the end of the hall stood a vast throne carved from shining gold. Coiled around the throne was the largest serpent they had ever seen. At first it looked like a statue, motionless and heavy. But then, its golden scales rippled. Its head lifted slowly, eyes glowing like twin suns. The mechanical serpent opened its mouth, releasing a deep hiss that shook the walls. Dust fell from the ceiling as the creature stirred after its long sleep. Tom froze in terror. "Myra, it's alive." The serpent shifted, uncoiling from the throne. Its body moved with smooth, deliberate power, each segment gleaming like polished armor. Its head lowered until it hovered just above Myra. She could see her reflection in its glowing eyes. The serpent spoke. Its voice was broken, metallic, yet filled with weight. "Chosen heir. You, return." Myra swallowed hard. "Who are you? What is this place?" The serpent lifted higher, circling around them with slow grace. "I am guardian. Built, to protect. This, is the chamber of the sun serpent. Legacy, of Pharaoh, and stars." Tom stared in disbelief. "It talks. It's some kind of machine. Alien technology." The serpent hissed, the sound echoing like thunder. "Not machine, not human. Both. Gift from beyond, sealed in sand. Pharaoh swore to guard, until time of awakening." Myra stepped forward, her fear melting into wonder. "Why call me heir?" The serpent tilted its head. "Because you, are chosen. Mark of blood. Line of Pharaoh lives, In you. Her chest tightened. She had studied her family history but never thought she carried the blood of ancient kings. Could this guardian truly know? Tom shook his head. Myra, this is impossible. But the serpent ignored him. Its golden body coiled again around the throne. Only heir may command. Only heir may face trial. Chamber must not fall to outsiders. Enemies surge, they come soon. Myra's eyes widened. Enemies? Who? The serpent's gaze burned brighter. Hunters. From earth, and from sky. They want the power. They must not take. Tom's voice trembled. Aliens. It means aliens are still out there. And treasure hunters too. If they find this place, then humanity will lose its chance, Myra finished. The serpent lowered its head again. Will you guard, or will you flee? Myra felt the weight of the question. Every part of her screamed to run, yet her heart knew the truth. I will guard it. I will face whatever trial you set. The serpent's eyes dimmed slightly, almost like approval. Then trial begins soon. Prepare. The chamber fell silent. The only sound was the faint hum of hidden machines. Myra and Tom stood together, their lives changed forever. The golden serpent had awakened, and with it, the ancient secret of the Pharaoh's hidden temple. Outside, the desert wind carried whispers across the dunes. Somewhere far away, ships moved in the sky, unseen but drawing closer. The guardian had spoken true. Others were coming. Myra clenched her fists. She was no longer just an archaeologist. She was the heir to a forgotten promise, and the fate of the chamber now rested on her shoulders. The golden serpent coiled around the throne, its glowing eyes fixed on Myra. The chamber hummed with quiet energy, as if the walls themselves were alive. Tom stood close to her, his hand gripping the handle of his lamp, while Myra stared up at the guardian that had called her heir. What trial? She asked. Her voice shook, but she did not step back. The serpent tilted its head, then opened its mouth. A beam of light shot from its jaws, striking the wall behind the throne. The chamber darkened, and a great image appeared in the air. Myra gasped. It was a vision, not of carvings or statues, but of a living man. A tall figure wearing the crown of Pharaoh appeared, his robe lined with golden patterns. His eyes were sharp, his face calm. The Pharaoh spoke, his voice deep and steady. If you see this, then the chamber has awakened. I am the last ruler of a line that guarded a secret beyond time. The gods who came from the stars gave us wisdom and power, but they warned us as well. This gift was not meant to rule the world. It was meant to protect it. The image shifted, showing strange ships descending from the sky. They were not like any craft Myra had seen. Their shapes were sharp, their lights cold. Behind them followed destruction, burning villages, broken pyramids, people fleeing. The Pharaoh's voice continued, they came not as friends, but as hunters. They wanted our world, our rivers, our skies. But we stood against them. With the Golden Guardian, we sealed their advance and forced them back to the stars. Yet I knew they would return. I built this chamber to guard the weapon of the serpent and to prepare one who would rise when humanity was ready. Myra's heart raced. She whispered to Tom, this is proof. The myths were real. The Pharaoh fought with alien technology. Tom could barely speak. And you are the heir. The image changed again. The Pharaoh's gaze seemed to rest directly on Myra, though it was only a recording. To the one who carries my blood, I speak. You must prove yourself through the trial of the serpent. Only with wisdom, courage, and unity may you claim this power. If you fail, the chamber will sleep again, and humanity will be left to face the stars alone. The image faded, leaving only the serpent guardian's glowing eyes in the silence. Tom broke the silence first. Myra, do you understand what this means? This is bigger than history. This is about survival. The Pharaoh left this for you, for us. Myra stepped closer to the throne. Not for me alone. For all humans. He believed in us, even when we were just beginning to build pyramids in the sand. He saw a future where we would be tested again. The serpent lowered its head. Enemies approach. Hunters of gold and sky both. Soon they will find this place. You must choose. Myra looked at Tom. If treasure hunters or aliens reach this chamber first, they will take the power. Humanity will lose everything. Tom frowned. Then we have no choice. We have to stay. We have to fight for it. The serpent's body glowed brighter, filling the chamber with golden light. Then you are ready to begin trial. But know this: the chamber does not test strength of arms. It tests strength of heart. The floor beneath them shifted, revealing a spiral staircase that descended into the depths of the temple. A soft light glowed from below, beckoning them forward. Tom hesitated. We don't know what's down there. Myra placed a hand on his shoulder. We came this far. If the Pharaoh left a message for us, then he also left a path. I believe it will show us the truth. Together, they stepped onto the stairs. The serpent watched them in silence, its massive body unmoving like a statue once more. The staircase led them to a smaller chamber below. This room was unlike the halls above. The walls were not covered in carvings but in smooth panels that glowed faintly, like stars trapped in stone. At the center stood a pedestal, and above it floated a golden orb, spinning slowly in the air. Myra approached the orb. It pulsed gently, as if alive. When she reached out, the orb flashed and filled the chamber with light. Images appeared all around: maps of Earth, star charts of distant worlds, and strange symbols shifting into human words. A voice spoke, not the Pharaoh's but something older, colder, yet calm. This is the memory of the serpent. Knowledge of stars, knowledge of war, knowledge of peace. To take it, you must be worthy. Myra's knees felt weak. She had dreamed of finding proof that humanity was not alone, but now the proof surrounded her. The knowledge of the stars was within her reach, but so was the weight of a promise. Tom whispered, if you touch it, there's no turning back. Myra nodded slowly. The Pharaoh chose to protect this knowledge, not use it for conquest. If I take it, I must do the same. For humanity, not for myself. She placed her hands on the glowing orb. The chamber filled with golden fire, and visions raced through her mind: armies of serpents battling across the desert, alien ships burning in the sky, and the Pharaoh standing firm as he sealed the chamber with his last breath. The voice whispered again, prove your heart. Prove your mind. Prove your spirit. When the light faded, Myra stood shaking but unbroken. She knew now what the trial would be. It was not only a test of her courage but of her choices. The serpent's knowledge was dangerous, yet it could save humanity if guided by the right hands. Tom steadied her. What did you see? Myra's eyes burned with determination. I saw the truth. And I saw the future. We have very little time. The hunters are coming. Above them, the great serpent stirred once more, its hiss echoing through the temple like thunder. The trial had begun, and the fate of the chamber and of humanity was now in Myra's hands. The desert sun blazed high, casting sharp shadows across the dunes. Above the sands, a dust cloud grew larger, rising from the west. It was not a storm. It was a convoy of trucks, speeding toward the excavation site. At the same time, far above the earth, hidden in the sky, alien ships adjusted their course. The chamber was no longer a secret. Inside the Golden Temple, Myra and Tom prepared for what was coming. The Serpent Guardian coiled restlessly around its throne, its golden scales glowing with sharp light. Its voice rumbled low and steady. The hunters arrive. Both men of greed and those from the stars. If they enter, all will be lost. Tom checked the equipment they had brought. Most of it was simple ropes, lamps, and tools. None of it was meant for battle. We can't fight them head-on, Myra. They have guns, machines, and maybe worse. How do we stop them? Myra touched the glowing orb they had found in the lower chamber. It pulsed faintly under her hand. We don't fight with strength. We fight with the temple itself. This place was built to test us. It can protect us too. The serpent lowered its head near her. Heir of Pharaoh, command, and the chamber will answer. Myra nodded. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Outside, the sound of engines grew louder. The first intruders arrived before sunset. Armed treasure hunters stepped out of their trucks, scanning the camp. They found the workers who had fled the temple earlier and forced them to reveal what they had seen. The leader, a tall man with cold eyes, smiled at the sight of the golden slabs. This is it. Riches beyond measure. Open it. The workers shook their heads. It opens only for her. They pointed toward the temple. The woman with the blood of Pharaoh. The leader frowned but gave a sharp order. His men advanced, carrying heavy tools and explosives. But before they could reach the golden slabs, the ground trembled. A deep hiss echoed through the air, shaking the sand beneath their feet. The men stumbled, their weapons shaking in their hands. From within the chamber, the golden serpent's eyes blazed. The doors glowed with bright light, sealing shut as if by their own will. The leader cursed and struck the slabs with his weapon, but the bullets bounced harmlessly away. Inside, Myra whispered to Tom, "It's holding them back." But what about the ones from the sky? As if in answer, the air outside shimmered. Strange shadows fell over the desert as alien ships descended, silent and sharp like blades of black glass. The treasure hunters stared in shock. For a moment, both groups froze, neither expecting the other. Then chaos erupted. The aliens unleashed beams of energy that cut across the sand, scattering the humans. The hunters fired their guns wildly, but their weapons were useless against the alien armor. Screams echoed as men fell, their greed drowned by fear. Myra and Tom watched from inside the chamber, their faces pale. "They're here," Tom said, his voice tight. "And they'll tear this place apart to get what they want." Myra clenched her fists. "We cannot let them in. The Pharaoh built this temple to protect the world, and now it's our turn." The Serpent Guardian rose higher, towering above them. Its voice thundered. "The trial is now. Show courage, show wisdom, show unity. Prove that humanity deserves the gift of the serpent." The floor of the chamber lit up, forming a glowing path that stretched toward the great door. Myra felt the orb in her hand grow warmer. She understood what she had to do. She turned to Tom. "We must complete the trial. If we succeed, the chamber will recognize us and give us control. Then we can stop them all." Tom nodded, though fear flickered in his eyes. Then let's do it together. Outside, the desert had become a battlefield. Treasure hunters fled in every direction, chased by alien drones that hovered like hawks. The alien leader, a tall figure with silver skin, marched toward the golden slabs. He raised a device that pulsed with blue light, pressing it against the door. The slabs shook under the force, but they did not open. The guardian's voice rumbled louder, resisting the intruder's attempt. Inside, Myra and Tom followed the glowing path. The air thickened as they moved deeper, and walls of shifting light rose around them. It was a maze, alive and changing. Each step tested their focus. If they faltered, the path would vanish. Tom muttered, "This is the trial. It wants to see if we can stay together." Myra grabbed his hand. "Then we will." They moved carefully, each step guided by the faint light. Behind them, the roar of the battle grew louder. The alien leader's device pounded against the door, and cracks of blue light spread across the surface. Time was running out. At last, Myra and Tom reached the center of the maze. A great platform rose from the floor, glowing with golden fire. Upon it rested a second orb, larger than the first. Its light filled the chamber, warm and strong. The serpent's voice echoed above them. "Take it, heir of Pharaoh. Claim the heart of the serpent. With it, you may command the chamber." Myra stepped forward, her heart racing. She placed both hands on the orb. At once, the chamber shook violently. Golden energy surged across the walls, racing up the pillars and out toward the entrance. Outside, the golden slabs blazed with light. The alien leader staggered back as his device shattered in his hand. The treasure hunters fell to their knees, shielding their eyes. The desert glowed as if a second sun had risen from beneath the sand. Inside, Myra felt the orb's power flow into her. Visions filled her mind again: ancient battles, starships destroyed in the skies, Pharaoh standing beside the golden serpent. The knowledge was heavy, but it did not crush her. It guided her. Tom steadied her. "Myra, are you all right?" She opened her eyes, which now glowed faintly with golden light. "Yes. I can feel it. The chamber listens to me now." The serpent guardian bowed its massive head. "You have taken the first step. But the trial is not complete. You must face the final test." Myra looked toward the glowing slabs. She could hear the aliens hammering again, desperate to enter. The battle outside was not finished, and the chamber's true trial had only begun. The chamber was alive with golden light, stretching from the glowing orb in Myra's hands to the serpent guardian coiled on its throne. Outside, distant sounds of alien engines and treasure hunters' shouts echoed faintly through the walls, but inside, time seemed to slow. Myra and Tom stood together, feeling the weight of the chamber's power and the trial ahead. The serpent's voice rolled like thunder. "The trial begins. Only those who show courage, wisdom, and unity may claim the chamber's heart. Step forward, heir of Pharaoh." Myra tightened her grip on the orb. "I am ready." The floor beneath them shifted, forming a path of golden tiles that rose into the air. The chamber expanded, walls stretching into darkness. Shadows of serpents slithered along the ceiling, moving as if alive. Each tile glowed brighter when Myra stepped on it, but some tiles flickered and dimmed, threatening to vanish if she misstepped. Tom followed closely, holding her hand. "Stay together. That's the key." Myra nodded. "I understand. The chamber is testing us, not just me." They moved carefully, each step requiring focus. The first challenge appeared as a series of floating puzzles, golden panels with symbols that shifted constantly. Myra reached out to touch them, and they began to rotate and form patterns. She realized they were mirrors of the constellations she had studied in books, stars arranged in perfect order. "This is a test of knowledge," Myra whispered. She adjusted the panels until the constellations matched the stars in her mind. Light surged through the panels, and the path ahead opened further. The second challenge came as a deep pit suddenly appeared in front of them. Its edges were invisible until they stepped too close. Myra held Tom's hand tighter. "We must trust each other and the chamber." Tom nodded. "Leap together." Myra took a deep breath. Together. They jumped in unison. Golden energy wrapped around them midair, carrying them safely to the other side. The pit had tested their courage and trust. The third challenge was more subtle. The chamber filled with whispering voices, faint but insistent. They spoke of doubt, fear, and failure. Myra felt her confidence waver. Images of her family, her friends, and all she had left behind filled her mind. The whispers tried to convince her to step away, to leave the trial unfinished. Tom placed his hand over hers. "Don't listen. We face it together." Myra closed her eyes and focused. She imagined the Pharaoh standing before her, guiding her with quiet strength. The whispers faded, and the golden light brightened, showing a doorway ahead. Through the doorway, they entered a room filled with golden statues of serpents. At the center floated a second, larger orb. It pulsed with power, brighter than the first. The serpent guardian's voice filled the room. "Final test. Claim the heart of the serpent. Show your wisdom, not through strength but through choice." Myra stepped forward, feeling the orb's energy. A vision appeared, showing two paths, one where the chamber's power was used to destroy the intruders, giving humans immediate victory but risking corruption and greed, and another path where the power was used to protect the temple, allowing humanity to earn its strength and defend itself wisely. Her mind raced. The first path promised easy victory, but it could lead to misuse of the chamber's power. The second required patience and trust, but it honored the Pharaoh's original intent. Tom saw the vision too. "We must protect, not destroy. That's what the chamber expects of us." Myra nodded, placing her hands fully on the orb. "We choose the path of protection. We guard, not conquer." The chamber vibrated with approval. Light surged through every wall and pillar, cascading over the golden statues. The serpent guardian's body glowed with intensity, eyes blazing like twin suns. The room filled with warmth, and a calm settled over Myra and Tom. "You have chosen wisely," the guardian said. "You have proven courage, wisdom, and unity. You are worthy to command the chamber." Suddenly, the chamber shifted again. The golden slabs at the entrance opened, revealing the desert outside. The intruders were frozen in awe. The treasure hunters could not move, their weapons falling from their hands. Alien ships hovered but did not attack, as if the chamber's energy created an invisible barrier. Myra stepped back from the orb, feeling its power flow into her. She was not just an archaeologist anymore. She was the heir of Pharaoh, the guardian of a secret built to protect humanity. Tom looked at her in wonder. "You did it? The chamber listens to you now." Myra nodded, breathing heavily. "It was never just about power. It was about proving we are ready to protect, to face what comes, and to stand together." The serpent guardian coiled around the orb, its massive head lowering near Myra. "The trial is complete, heir. The chamber recognizes your heart and mind. Humanity now has a protector. Outside, the desert returned to silence. The treasure hunters had fled, broken by the chamber's force. The alien ships rose slowly into the sky, leaving without attacking. Myra knew they would return, but for now, the chamber was safe. Tom touched her shoulder. What now? Myra gazed at the golden halls, feeling both pride and responsibility. Now, we prepare. Others will come for this place. We must be ready. The Pharaoh left this for a reason. We cannot fail. The guardian hissed softly, a sound of approval and calm. You are worthy. But vigilance is eternal. The trial has shown your heart. The path ahead is yours to guard. Myra stepped back, letting the orb's light fade into gentle warmth. She felt its knowledge within her, wisdom of the stars, history, and protection. Tom smiled beside her, sharing in the triumph. Together, they had passed the trial. Together, they would defend the legacy of the Pharaoh and the golden serpent. The desert outside glowed under the setting sun, golden like the chamber within. The hidden temple was safe for now, but its secrets would test humanity again. Myra had proven they were ready. The desert sun burned low in the sky, casting long shadows across the golden dunes. Inside the hidden temple, Myra stood tall, the weight of the serpent guardian's trust upon her shoulders. The golden orb she had claimed in the trial glowed softly, radiating warmth and knowledge. Tom stood beside her, his face filled with both awe and determination. Outside, the desert was silent. The treasure hunters and alien ships had retreated, but their threat lingered. Myra knew it was only a matter of time before others discovered the temple. The Pharaoh had built it to protect humanity, but now the responsibility had passed to her. The serpent guardian coiled slowly around its throne. Its eyes, bright as the morning sun, followed Myra with unwavering attention. Heir of Pharaoh, the chamber is yours to command. But power alone does not protect. Wisdom guides action. Choose your path. Myra placed her hands over the glowing orb. The energy within was alive, flowing through her like a river of golden light. She felt the weight of centuries, the visions of the Pharaoh, and the secret of the stars. The temple's knowledge was immense, yet she understood the responsibility it carried. Tom asked softly, "What will you do?" Myra looked toward the entrance. The golden slabs shimmered, guarding the secret within. We protect it. Not for ourselves, but for humanity. This temple is more than treasure or technology. It is a legacy of hope, wisdom, and strength. We will defend it, and guide those who are ready to learn. The serpent hissed, a sound that seemed almost like approval. Your heart is true. You have chosen wisely. Others will come. Be prepared. Myra nodded. We will be ready. The first test came sooner than expected. A group of treasure hunters returned, led by a determined man wielding explosives. They stormed across the desert, unaware of the chamber's awakening. The temple responded immediately. Golden energy surged from the walls, creating barriers that stopped them in their tracks. Sand swirled into powerful gusts, forcing the intruders to retreat. Tom smiled, relief in his eyes. It works. The temple protects itself when we need it. Myra stepped forward, raising her hands. Light flowed from the orb, connecting with the serpent guardian and spreading through the chamber. The energy pulsed outward, forming a protective shield that stretched beyond the golden slabs. The intruders could no longer approach. They cannot pass, Myra said. The chamber recognizes only those worthy. The serpent hissed softly. You have claimed the chamber. Your spirit guides it. But vigilance must continue. The skies and the earth hold many who will try. From above, distant shadows appeared, alien ships returning, their engines silent as they scanned the desert below. Myra did not falter. She felt the orb's power connect with the temple, creating a field that even the ships could not penetrate. Golden light stretched into the sky, reflecting the chamber's strength and the pharaoh's legacy. Tom placed a hand on her shoulder. You are ready for them. The temple listens to you. Myra nodded. It listens because we protect, not because we conquer. That is the lesson of the pharaoh. That is the power we carry. The golden serpent shifted, coiling around her as if acknowledging her command. Its massive head lowered, bringing its glowing eyes close to hers. You are worthy. Humanity's claim is secured. But the path forward requires courage, wisdom, and unity. Lead with these, and the chamber will remain safe. Myra turned to Tom, determination in her eyes. We begin by restoring the temple fully. The knowledge within must be preserved. The power of the stars is not for destruction, but for guidance. Tom nodded. We can start now. We'll strengthen the defenses, catalog the knowledge, and make sure no one misuses it. Together, they moved deeper into the chamber. The walls glowed with golden inscriptions, and the statues of serpents seemed alive, watching over them. The orb pulsed with each step, responding to Myra's intent. Knowledge of the stars, ancient battles, and protective technologies flowed through her, showing her how to guide humanity wisely. Outside, the desert grew quiet as the sun sank below the horizon. The golden chamber glimmered under the last rays of light. It was hidden yet powerful, alive yet patient. The legacy of the pharaoh and the gift of the stars rested in human hands at last. Myra and Tom worked through the night, cataloging the chamber's secrets. The temple responded to their presence, opening passages that had been sealed for millennia and revealing knowledge that could advance humanity without fear. They understood that the trial was not just theirs, it belonged to every human who could rise to the challenge. The Serpent Guardian watched over them silently, a living reminder of what humanity could achieve when courage, wisdom, and unity were combined. Myra placed her hand on the orb one final time. She could feel the heartbeat of the temple, the pulse of history, and the trust of the pharaoh. This is only the beginning, Myra said softly. We will protect this place, and guide humanity to be worthy of it. Tom smiled. Then let's do it together. The desert night stretched over the hidden temple, silent and peaceful. The golden serpent coiled around its throne, the chamber alive and secure. For the first time in millennia, the pharaoh's legacy was claimed by humans not for power, but for protection. Humanity had proven its worth. Above, the stars shone brightly, as if watching the earth below and smiling at the heirs of an ancient promise. Myra stood tall, the guardian of a secret that could change the future. She was no longer just an archaeologist. She was the heir of Pharaoh, the protector of the golden serpent, and the defender of humanity's claim to the stars. The desert, silent and golden, held its secret, but now humanity had the key. The hidden temple, the guardian, and the legacy of the pharaoh were theirs to protect and guide. The trials were complete, the power was claimed, and the promise of the stars belonged to humans at last.